Welcome back to our journey through the one epic story of the Bible. Today we're exploring the sobering story of Sodom and Gomorrah's destruction, a tale that highlights the consequences of sin and the importance of heeding God's warnings. To understand this passage, we must remember God's original intent for humanity. God created us to reflect His holiness and establish the family as the foundation for filling the earth with people who would walk with Him. But sin corrupted that design, and in Sodom and Gomorrah, we see the depths of depravity, particularly in sexual perversion. Lot, Abraham's nephew, lives in Sodom. Though righteous, he seems to have allowed the culture to compromise his faith and family. When angels visit, the men of the city demand to have sex with him. Shockingly, Lot offers his daughters to appease the mob, a disturbing sign of how much his moral compass has been skewed. The angels urge Lot to flee the coming judgment, but his sons-in-law dismiss the warning, and even Lot hesitates. As destruction falls, Lot's wife looks back and becomes a pillar of salt, a reminder of the danger of clinging to sin. In the aftermath, Lot's daughters committed incest with their father, showing sin's warping effects. This passage offers some key lessons. First, it warns of the consequences of compromise. Lot pitched his tent near Sodom and eventually lived there, allowing the culture to influence his family. It's a reminder for us to guard our hearts and minds, to be intentional about the influences we allow into our lives. Are we pitching our tents too close to the world's values? Are we allowing compromise to dull our sensitivity to God's voice? We need to regularly take inventory of our lives and be willing to make hard choices to prioritize our walk with God. Second, it highlights the critical role of parents in shaping their children's faith. Lot seems to have been passive in instilling godly values in his family. His daughter's choices reflect a lack of understanding of God's ways. It's a sobering call for us as parents to actively disciple our children, to model wholehearted obedience, and to create a home environment that nurtures faith. Finally, it underscores the destructive nature of sexual sin. God's design for sexuality is a beautiful gift, meant to be enjoyed within the covenant of marriage between a man and a woman. When we deviate from that plan, as seen in the rampant immorality of Sodom, the results are devastating. It's a warning for us to flee sexual temptation, to guard our hearts and minds, and to honor God with our bodies. I think of a time in my own life when I had to make a choice to flee temptation. As a young pastor in Germany, my daily jogging route took me past a theater with provocative posters. I found myself constantly battling the desire to look at them. I knew I couldn't change my route, so I made a decision. Every time I ran past that theater, I would fix my eyes on the ground and pray, "I choose Jesus." It was small, but a significant act of turning from compromise and pursuing purity. In a world that often celebrates sin, we must cultivate the uncompromising walk with God. Heed His warnings, flee temptation, and follow His lead. We must create homes and communities that nurture faith and reflect His design. Sodom and Gomorrah's story is a stark reminder of sin's consequences, but also a testimony to God's mercy. He provided an escape for Lot and his family, just as He provides an escape for us through Christ. No matter how far we've strayed, His grace can cleanse, restore, and empower us to live rightly. So learn from Lot's example, both the caution and the hope. Pursue a faith that shines brightly, not allowing compromise to dim your light. And rejoice that you serve God, whose grace reaches farther than our sin, endures longer than our failures, and pays the price for our redemption. As the saying goes, sin will take you further than you want to go, keep you longer than you want to stay, and cost you more than you want to pay. But God's grace is still greater than all our sins. Cling to that grace. Pursue righteousness in His strength, and pray for a world that needs to see His beauty in us. Let your life be a testimony to the transforming power of a faith that refuses to compromise.